Welcome back to Two Doctors Homestead. My name is Daniel, and this is another 30 Days of Preparedness 2024. You could call it a bonus video. We thought we were doing 4, but we were doing 5. So you may have noticed the dates and whatnot were off on the last 2. It was our mistake not paying attention. So bonus video, this is our 5th video in the series. The collaboration sponsored by Avid Armor, and there is a giveaway. There's a giveaway and there's a coup. They're offering 10% off to everyone watching the videos, watching the collab. But there's a big giveaway at the end from Avid Armor, and it's on Big Valley Living's YouTube channel. So check out Big Valley Living for all the details on the giveaway. It's a live giveaway held 4:30 p.m. on Monday, September 30th, 2024, and that's Pacific time. So in order to be considered for the giveaway, you got to watch all the videos, right? Watch all the channels, subscribe to all the channels, and leave a thoughtful original comment on each video. So they're doing a comment picker in order to determine who wins the giveaways, right? So only residents of the U.S. will be eligible for prizes. So this is our 5th video in the series. We did an intro to prepping, rule of 3s. We did intro to prepping, building a survival bucket. We did water filtration and long-term food storage. And today I'm talking about getting home. We're going to talk about get home bags, why you might need a get home bag, some of the theory behind get home bags, and why it's not a one-size-fits-all, right? There's a lot of nuance, right? A lot of it depends when you're talking about getting home, and I'll sort of explain that. So I've lived in 10 cities in 4 different states. So 10 cities, 4 different states. Get home means getting home. So if you're at work, if you're at the grocery store, wherever you're operating, wherever the furthest distance you normally drive, could be work for most people, and you had to walk home, what would you need? What would you need to walk home? And is that 40 miles in the winter in Chicago where it's negative 40 out? Or is that 5 miles in San Diego in the springtime? As you can imagine, what you would need to survive that walk is going to be much different. It's very situationally dependent. I've lived in San Diego. 5-mile walk in San Diego might be you got your good flip-flops, you've got your Walkman, maybe some sunblock, nice beach hat, something like that, right? You're doing your 5-mile walk home. You probably don't even need this if you're doing 40 miles in negative 40-degree weather from downtown Chicago out to the suburbs. You're probably going to need a lot more than this, right? That's going to be an Arctic expedition at that point, especially if you have to spend the night somewhere in negative 40, right? So what you need to get home, once again, is very, very situational. It really depends on where you're at, depends on time of year, terrain, all that kind of stuff, right? So for me, this is actually my little get home bag. I have about, I won't tell you exactly, say between 30 and 40 miles, mostly through suburban, rural kind of environment, right? Now I would suspect 30, 40 miles. I'm probably going to have to spend the night at least once. So I've got that kind of prepared for that in this bag, and we'll go through the bag. The idea isn't a bug out bag. We're going to go live in the woods and carry as much as possible. It's just what you think you need to get home, right? A lot of situations that could put you in a position where you've got to walk home, right? Even if it's 30, 40 miles, whatever it is, you've got to walk home, right? Whether your car's not working, maybe cyber attack took out critical infrastructure, could be EMP attack, could be grade down, could be civil unrest. You can role play, you can figure out a lot of different scenarios that might put you in a situation where you just got to walk home, right? Not trying to justify or weigh any of these scenarios, but the idea is you're away from home, whatever your normal furthest distance is, what would you need? What would you need if you had to walk home? What's your get home plan, right? Have you communicated that? Hey, if there's a power outage, if grid is down, and the bridge is out, so I can't get through the bridge, I got to go a different way, I've got to go this, whatever the situation is. I'm not trying to go too deep into that, spend too much time on that, but the idea is you got to walk home, right? Maybe your vehicle is disabled and there's nobody around because you work, remote, super remote, there's no people, whatever it is. Figure scenario based on where you're at, where you live, where you work, what's the furthest distance, what would you need? So sort of beat that up a little bit. So let's go through the bag. Really, once again, just give you ideas. First of all, the bag, right? Obviously, size of the bag is going to depend on your situation, what you need, right? I like just a basic cheap bag because it's great. You know, it's not some big military tactical backpack that's going to draw a lot of attention. It's almost a basic cheap disposable bag, right? So I like that idea to start with. Don't want to draw a lot of attention with the bag. So we'll zip it open here, kind of go through, lay everything out, just showing you guys everything fits in the bag. It's not super heavy, it would be easy to carry, nothing on the table. So we'll start going through. First thing in the bag, got a little bit of cash, right? And a lot of people say put cash in the get home bag. This could be all you need, right? Once again, depends on the scenario. Maybe you just needed 20 bucks, 40 bucks, whatever it was to pay an Uber, right? All situational. You want to be prepared for different situations. So a little cash, not a horrible idea. How much cash depends on you. Next thing right off the top, first aid kit. Maybe you just need the bandages, right? Maybe it's not a get home situation. You just need the bandages. You got your first aid kit, just a boo-boo kit. Obviously not some big trauma kit or anything like that. Just basic boo-boo kit. Next item I like on the top is Midland. It's a weather radio. It's a hand crank solar powered weather radio. What I like about this is it has a USB port so you could charge your cell phone. So if all you need to do is charge your cell phone, maybe catch a glimpse at the radio, it's got a flashlight in it, solar charge, hand crank charge, uses 18650 batteries. That might be all you need, right? Once again, we're stacking things up, planning for my, say, 30 to 50 mile walk. Not a bad way to keep your cell phone going. Once again, that might be all you need. You might need some cash, and you might need your first aid kit, and you might need your weather radio to charge your phone, right? We'll keep going, just kind of going through, right? We're layering things together here. Next item I'm going to pull out is a different way to charge the phone. So hand crank, we've got the solar. This is another solar panel, right? It's gonna be a little bigger, help you charge your phone on the go. If communications are working, you want to keep your communications open, so it's got a little pouch for the cords. This needs a cord as well, same cord, same pouch, right? So another option, just a little basic solar panel, charge your phone. Have a multi-tool. It's always good to have multi-tools. Generally, I carry a pocket knife with me, but you don't know. You don't know, you might need some tools. So this has got your pliers. So this is a basic cheapo multi-tool, but it works fine. So any kind of multi-tool, not a bad idea to have. Maybe keep one on your belt, your pocket, keep one in your bag. You might need to do something with the pliers, the wire cutters, whatever it is that you might need. A little self-defense, this depends on you and your situation in terms of having self-defense. Not a bad idea. Once again, depends on the laws where you're at, all those kind of things. Think through your self-defense based on your situation and whatnot. Won't go too deep into that. If we're walking, compass is not a bad idea. Right? You need to know what direction you're going on, and I think I have a map as well. So we'll pull the compass and the map. I'm just grabbing stuff out of the bag, compass and a map. Figure out how to get home, especially if your normal route's blocked. Maybe there was an earthquake, right? There's a ton of scenarios, ton of what ifs, but compass and a map, not a bad idea. Get home, give you some alternate routes. So I've got kind of some shelter stacking up here. This is a poncho, just a basic camo poncho. Camo part may or may not be important depending on the situation, but a rain poncho, right? This obviously depends on time of year. You don't want to get soaked. If it's cold outside and you get wet, that's when you start talking about hypothermia. Rain poncho is not a bad idea. And then I've got some emergency shelter here. We have an emergency blanket. Actually, I have two emergency blankets here. You know, if you've got to spend the night somewhere, if you're in colder temperatures, anything like that, emergency blanket can be a great idea, great way to push back on any kind of hypothermia. You don't want to get hypothermia. I've got two just to be safe. They're slightly different sizes. This is the 16210, this is the 13210. So two different emergency blankets, emergency shelter. In my walk, I'm probably going to have to spend the night somewhere. Mosquito netting, all right, once again, depends on where you're at. Where I live, in mosquito season, they can be pretty bad. So if I'm going to spend the night somewhere after walking 15, 20 miles, I don't want to get eaten up by mosquitoes, right? So I'm planning on spending the night. I got my emergency blanket, got disposable poncho, and mosquito net. Might be a good idea. Working on the shelter there, and under shelter I've got a little life bivvy. So this is a little more Then an emergency blanket. It's like a little emergency sleeping bag. Lightweight, small, not super expensive. So again, depends on your distance. I'm far enough that I'm probably going to spend the night. So life bivy might be very important. Might make a big difference on comfort, on spending the night somewhere. Spare magazine, once again, depends on you, depends on your situation, depends on your laws. Not a bad idea to have, potentially, right? That's your own decision. Just pulling out of the bag here. So I have some fire starter options. Once again, if I'm spending the night somewhere, I may or may not be in a situation where I want to start a fire, but if I need to start a fire, I've got some tinder. I have just a basic striker magnesium fire starter. And this is a good multi-tool, so it's a backup compass. I already showed you the compass. It holds matches inside, so you've got the matches in here. And then you've got the whistle, so you've got a signaling device. If you're lost in the woods, right, you blow the whistle. You can yell for help, but if you yell too much, your voice is going to go hoarse, and the whistle won't stop working. People hear it further. So good little multi-purpose fire starter signal whistle. Once again, I'm going 2 days, so I'm going to spend the night somewhere. I may or may not want to get a fire going. I've got just a basic glow stick, right? This is good for marking your location. It's not going to produce a ton of light, but it's a little bit of light. Might be a signaling device. Might help mark your location, mark yourself. May or may not be something you want to do. So let's talk about, let's see what I have left in here. Got my cable. Right, charging cable, right? You might want to charge your phone. Another flashlight. This is a little solar crank flashlight, clips on, so you clip it on your belt, something like that. Hand crank. So you don't have to worry as much about the batteries and whatnot on this. So you know it's going to work. It's a second flashlight behind the weather radio. It's a basic flashlight, especially if you're talking, multiple days or you got to walk through the night. Flashlights aren't going to be a bad idea. You might have to go to the bathroom at some point, so these are porta wipes. It's basically a little expanding towelette, right? So you get the towelette a little bit wet, it expands out. It could be sort of emergency toilet paper, basically, is what it is. In here, you could add baby wipes. There's a lot of stuff you could add in the pack. So I think the last two areas I have are food and water. So let's talk about food and water. Life straw, right? These are great little squeezy bags, water filter. 2-day walk, I'm gonna need water, right? So if I can find any, scavenge, forage, collect any water along the way, the Life Straw squeezy bag is great, help me filter it. And then I have some water in the pouch. These are just a stack of these little Datrex emergency drinking water. They're about 4 ounces each. So you got about 16 ounces of water in these, plus the Life Straw. Hopefully enough between that for the walk, plus I could try to find some water along the way. And then I have food. I didn't stack a ton of food in here, but I do have some high energy bars, maybe more food than I need for the walk. So eat 1 bar every 6 hours per person. So we got emergency food. Should be more than enough for my walk, for my 2-day walk. 3 if I had to. We'll call it a 2-day walk. And then the last thing I have in here is just a basic spoon and fork, multi-tool, bottle opener, can opener, right? So don't need it for the high energy bars, but you might find some canned goods along the way. Something like that, who knows? Optional, right? I decided to roll that in there. It's super lightweight, it's metal. It is a bit of a multi-tool as well as a utensil. So that's it, guys. That's my get home bag. That's my get home plan. If something happens, I can walk home, and it's going to be a more comfortable walk than not having these items, right? I have shelter for nighttime, shelter from the weather, right? You want to have your shelter. We talked about the rule of 3. Shelter is important. So I have my shelter options, heavy on the shelter. I have my water options, right? Water filtration. We got food in here. I have fire if I need to stop and set up a fire. So all good stuff. All think important items. I mean, your minimal, of course, if you're walking, map, compass. So just trying to give you ideas. Once again, it's going to be very situational for you. Other things you could think about if you don't generally wear comfortable shoes. maybe a change of shoes, maybe a change of socks. Right, you got to look at yourself, look at your distance, where you're walking, right? Look at a map, look online, figure out what your walk would look like. So you've got a couple different routes in mind. So you should have a plan in case something happens. There's always something that could happen. So hope that helps out. Once again, this was a bonus video. We messed up on the math. No harm on that, just some dates were wrong on some of the videos. So 30 Days of Preparedness 2024, hashtag sponsors Avid Armor, and we want to thank Big Valley Living for having us in the collab, for letting us share some of our preps, some of our prepping ideas, prepping videos. So as always, thank you for watching, and we appreciate you.